I'm going to use this video to go into a little more depth on creating tables and databases using the command line. This is a dangerous kind of video in my opinion because I'm going to end up doing this all by scripts. And with scripts, it's really easy to type in a lot of code, run the script, and show you that it works. And so I could cover lots of code in a very brief video if I wanted to, but although the temptation is there, I'm going to try to keep the new stuff to a minimum here. All right. We are going to create a car database, and this is the script that I'm going to run. So we have a create database command. We're going to create a database called CarDB. So we've seen this before in the last video. I'm going to use CarDB, so I'm switching over to that database immediately after creating it. And then I'm going to create a table, and I'm using the if not exists modifier so that if the table already exists, MySQL won't throw an error. Otherwise, I'm going to create this table car type, and I've got a few things in here, or a couple things that are new. We have an ID car. It's going to be an int, and I'm asking that to be not null. Now, why would you want some variables not null and perhaps other variables null? I'll just give you a couple of examples. So it turns out that if you're reading the screen, you probably already know the ID car is going to be a primary key, or the primary key. Well, you certainly don't want a null value for the primary key, but you might be thinking, why would you want a null value for any kind of variable? And I think the easiest one I can think of is I'm often asked to fill out survey information and put my name and that kind of stuff, and it always asks about ethnicity, and that's something that you can opt out of answering. And so if you had some kind of survey and you're asking ethnicity, then you would have to have a null value in case somebody decided not to answer that. Can you hear my dog scratching her neck in the background? Thanks. Okay, then we have the make of the car, which we define as a varchar of length 45, so at most 45 characters will be displayed. If we're going to identify a car, we don't want that to be null. The model, again, not null, and the manufacturer, we also want that. The manufacturer date, that's going to be a date and not null. And then, so these are modifiers that you can put on the end of creating a column. And then after all of that, I'm going to identify using some keywords. The primary key is ID car. And then after this command is executed, I'm going to show tables. Okay, so let's go ahead and run that. I'm actually in MySQL now. I'm going to stop, get out of that, and take a quick look at the directory that I'm in. And I see that I have an SQL script called create primary key. So let's go ahead and execute that. So it's MySQL. The user still has to be root for us because I haven't demonstrated how to give a non-root user the privileges to modify databases. All right, so this gives us the login information, and then I want to pipe that script into MySQL. And password. Okay, so it looks like something good happened. Some tables were created and car type was created. Let's go back and take a quick peek again at, let's see, primary key. So car type and CarDB looks like they were created. And this is the show DB. All right, so now let's enter MySQL again. I'm going to do this a little differently. This time I'm entering, but I'm not going to pipe in a script. I'm actually going to go into MySQL. I'm going to show databases. Okay, so there's the CarDB. I'm going to use CarDB. Whoops. I'm going to use CarDB. Database changed. Hang on. Oop, I'm being a dope. That's exactly what it's supposed to say. It's just telling me that I've changed databases over to CarDB, and let's take a look at and see what kind of tables we have. Show tables. So in CarDB, we have a table called car type. All right, so it looks like this has been made, which is exactly what we want. I'm going to show you another set of commands so that what I'm going to do is run another script here. And to do that, I am going to drop off the CarDB database. And okay, so we're going to get rid of CarDB, and I'm going to get out of here, and I'm going to run a second script, and this time we're going to create a foreign key. And at the end of this video, I'm going to talk a little bit about what foreign keys do. All right, so this is the same code right here as the create primary key, and then I'm going to create another table called myCar from car type, and my car is going to have an ID. So I am so rich as a math computer science professor that I have so many cars that I need to create a database to keep track of them all. Isn't that awesome? All right, so I have an ID for my car, not null, because that's going to be a primary key. And then I've set up a foreign key. Now remember, the naming scheme here is on me. I could call this anything I wanted to. I could call it 1 if I wanted. But the naming scheme is something that's fairly standard. The FK identifies it as a foreign key. This tells us that it's from the table car type, and it's going into my car. And this is the name of the variable up here, and that is an int and not null. I'm going to keep track of the price paid as an integer. We're not going to pay any cents on it. The date purchased, which is another date, and now I'm identifying the primary key as ID my car, and then you can see the foreign key command down here. So it's just foreign key, and in parentheses I'm identifying the variable in this table that is going to be the foreign key, and then I'm now telling it where that foreign key is referenced to. So this comes from the car type table and the variable ID car from the car type table. And then we'll do a little quick show tables afterwards. Okay, so let's go ahead and run that. Let's see. So instead of create primary key, I want to create a foreign key. And it looks like things went well. And it's showing me, ooh, what did I do? Unknown command U. What is that all about? Well, I don't know. I don't see. I wonder if I hit an extra key or something. Anyways, so it's showing me the two tables in CarDB, so that's nice. And I'm going to go ahead and log in. And do that. And just keep reminding ourselves how to show databases. So we're going to show databases. I'm going to use CarDB, and I'm going to show tables. And there we go. We have car type and my car. And then we could go ahead and look at those tables. But I think what I'm going to do is go into MySQL Workbench, because there's something I want to show you in terms of foreign keys and what they do and what separates them from other types of keys. So I paused and got rid of the command line prompt and opened up MySQL Workbench, and I connected to the database using the database tab up here. And when I did, CarDB was in here, and I've got two tables, car type and my car. So I'm going to go ahead into car type, and I'm going to put some information in here. So let's see, we're going to have ID car. It's going to be a Ford Mustang 1969. That's the car that got me in so much trouble when I was a young man. And the jig is up here. Notice that I clicked the apply button down here, the apply button I missed in the video when I talked about putting information into a table. So I did it this time. And it says insert into. Okay, so every time you run a command inside of MySQL Workbench, what this really is just an interface to the command line tool. So it's going to run the script insert into. So not surprisingly, there's a command line thing to insert information into a table. We'll be seeing that soon in a future video. So we're going to go ahead and apply that. And there was an error. Why was there an error? I don't want an error. Oh, because this is supposed to be a date, and I didn't put it in a date format. Ah, that's no good. Let's see, manufacturer date. So I cleverly, depending on how you define the word clever, put that in as a date. And when you do that, it expects to actually get a date. Okay, so I had the correct date format. And now what I'm going to do is go ahead and go to my car. And I'm going to put a row in. So let's see, I need an ID for my car. A nice one will work. And oh, let's see. I also had a 1971 Plymouth Fury 3 that I made an amazing lot car. We Dukes of Hazzard the snot out of that car. We paid $50 for it. And we purchased it in, oh, I don't know, 1984. Okay, so let's see, let's apply this. We're going to insert that in. Oh, let's see, there was an error. Cannot add or update row. A foreign key constraint fails. Oh. So here's the problem. The problem is I tried to use this foreign key of 2, but there is no such key of 2 in car type. At this point, car type only has the one key in it. So setting up a foreign key like this enforces what's known as referential integrity. And so basically what's going on is that the database is keeping track of your data for you and making sure that you have good data in your database, and if you don't, it won't let you add it in. And so I'm trying to add in bad information. The database has no way of knowing whether or not what a FK car type, my car ID car of type 2 is, because I don't have that information in there. So the thing that's different that I'm thinking of here is, if I hadn't set this up as a foreign key, I could have gone ahead and entered a 2 in here, and the database would have been fine with that. So one of the things that you should probably have asked yourself is, why do I need a foreign key when I do a join? You can do a join between 2 tables, and the foreign key aspect is not necessary. And the answer is simply that the foreign key enforces referential integrity, as is known, and makes sure that anything that you enter in here has a corresponding reference over in the table that you're calling. So doing a join, you can do a join between 2 different columns where they're not foreign keys for each other. That's fine, you can do that. And you can do a join for 2 columns where one is a foreign key for the other. And vice versa, you can have a foreign key for something that you're not going to do a join on. You can have a foreign key for things that you're going to do a join on. Basically what I'm saying is all 4 cases exist. They're independent of each other, having a foreign key versus a join, and they do 2 different things. A join between 2 columns gives you a way to combine information together, and a foreign key gives you a way to enforce that you're getting good data into your database. So hopefully that clears up an issue that I thought existed, the difference between a foreign key and doing a join between 2 columns.